G'day YouTube. For the last couple of weeks I've been waiting for some things to arrive from Amazon for my cheapest in-car kit, and since then I've also did a visit to the op shop and got a few extra things, and I've turned it into a Frunk emergency bag. So this video will be a two-parter. It'll have the Frunk kit part of it, and it'll also have the cheapest part of it. So about $50 is what I got to for the what I think is the best value for money. So let's get going. Alright, so in the front here I have put what I deem my Frunk emergency kit. So it is this kid's bag, which has got a bunch of stuff in it that you'll see shortly, as well as this blanket that I got from the op shop. Now I do actually use my Frunk for things. So what I've got here is a Type 2 charging cable, extra bottle of water, a water pistol that I use to clean bird shit off the car, a couple of Xbox controllers for playing games in the car, the charging cable that I can use to charge it from any power point in an emergency, and some lifting jacks and an umbrella. So just a couple of things I kept in the front always, and with the extra blanket and the Frunk bag I'm now able to do other things. And so it was full up and it won't move around and it won't rattle, so pretty happy with that. Some days the kitchen's only clean because I'm filming. Alright, so here's the bag and the decisions I made around it. So all up, this weighs 7.5 kilos at the moment with everything that you're going to see come out of it. What I'm going to do is everything that I think is in the essentials cheap pile, I'm going to put over on top of this. So you can kind of get a feel of the extra things that I've included in here from what I would really consider the base. So first off, the bags and things that I've used in here are wheelie bin liners. So this set of bags was $2.95 from a reject type shop. So that is definitely on the essentials list. Next up I have this blanket. It is a very large blanket. It does double duty in that you can use it to obviously sleep in the car, keep yourself warm, keep multiple people warm, considering it's basically a king size blanket. I got this from an op shop for $5.99. So again, I would put this on the essential one. I've used it since buying it to keep the backseat dirt from getting dirty when I've had a couple of tradies in the car. So again, that's on the essential kit. So here we have the main bag. I'm going to quickly go through the outsides of it first. I would put this on the bare minimum side. This is an Israeli bandage, about $11 off Amazon. If you're not going to carry any other medical, carry this. An Israeli bandage has a lot of uses and you can learn how to use it, and for that it's quite cheap. A set of baby wipes. These are on the essential list as well. This is part of a bigger bag of 5, but individually it's only a couple of dollars. They're used to wipe your bum and keep yourself clean if you're having to walk home and do other things as well. And if someone's got a baby and needs them, it's obviously very important. Right. On the other side here, I have my additional trauma type kit. I'm going to cop some flack for this, but here we go. So this is an extra case that I've put it in, and it is a SWAT T tourniquet with a Z-fold non-hemostatic gauze pad. I haven't seen any actual papers about where hemostatic versus non-hemostatic has actually saved someone's life. But there we go. And inside this it has some duct tape and some pair of gloves. This was a kit, this is what I bought off Amazon in a little bag, and I've put it into this hard drive, just a container just to keep it a bit safer. So there is reasons why I've chose to go on with a SWAT T over a cat type tourniquet, is that I can use this for compression type bandages as well, and I'm less likely to have a need for a cat tourniquet. But with the Israeli bandage and this, I should be able to do quite a bit. Also, the use of a cat tourniquet there's a few less options for using it than there are, and based on the research I did, any improvised tourniquet is basically useless. So even though a SWAT tee is not as good for that type of thing, it will be effective for a lot of things. And again, it was quite cheap. It was like $20 for this kit. I'll put the price up here now. So not essential. Alright. You've seen this in my other kits. This is definitely what I would consider essential. It is a Ziploc bag with a map and photos of my wife and myself and our families, and some communication documents, and some cash, and a marker, and a thread. If you don't know what a thread is, you'll have to Google that. It's pretty funny. But yeah, some cash, some things, and images. This is on the essential list because it doesn't cost you much. And if you don't include the cash, obviously it's basically a couple of dollars to get the thread and the marker. I'm going to put this on the essential bag. This is a set of assorted band-aids with the new advanced breathability and technology for making things. Probably $5 or $10 for this. But to go, if all you've got for medical is an assorted set of band-aids and Israeli bandage, you might be covered. So one of the prepared ponchos with reflective innards. I'm putting this on the not required list because this was an individual purchase off Amazon. Here is a full-size map with about half a dozen sugars, a miniature torch, and a basmati rice and some chili flakes. I put this on the non-essential list. Basically, I've already got some map in here already, and the little torch is basically just a supplement if you're not using your phone. The sugars I would probably throw into this bag though, because sugar is quite easy, cheap and light. So this is some 500 cord. I'm not including this in the essential one because I've got something else I'm going to include instead. But this is just an extra string of that. So a pack of cigarette lighters. Also not going to be in the essential thing. I'm really cutting it down for the minimum. Sunscreen, 50 plus. Yes, putting in the essentials. Face mask. Don't panic, people. It'll keep your face warm. This is a mosquito net. I'm putting it in the essentials because if you're needing to walk a long way or sleep out at night and you're needing to rough it, keeping some bugs and stuff away from your face at night is going to be a big deal. Some painkillers. I'm putting this in the essentials list because they're both cheap, and if you're having to walk, your feet are going to give you dramas, particularly if you're not used to it. Some glasses wipes. If you've got glasses, definitely need to keep a set of these in the essentials. This is a hat clip light. I'm putting in the non-essentials because, again, most of the time you're going to have your mobile phone, so you'll be using that as your torch, and really that's the go there. Right, and that's the outside of the bag done. Now let's talk about the bag itself. So I chose this from an op shop for $10. It is a kid's bag. I feel if I've got this in the boot or in the front, someone that's not really going to steal it. Because you know, it doesn't look like it's got laptops or anything in it. It's actually quite small and compact. You know, I've got it full to the brim, but you don't necessarily need to do that. So let me just open this out. Alright, so as I unpack this, again, I'll go through essentials and non-essentials. A set of firelighters. Take these from whatever you're already using if you've got fire at home. These are 6 from a bag of a box of 100 that I got from Bunnings for $5 for the whole set. So I'm putting it in the essentials because it's cheap and light and very useful if you actually need to use it. Baby powder. So baby powder I'm putting in the essentials kit because, again, if you need to walk a long way, you can use this to put in your private regions and on your shoes to help prevent blistering and to help keep yourself clean. And so it's a good thing. I would actually take it out of this container and probably put it into a smaller one if I needed space. But for a couple of dollars, you may as well keep it all sealed if you've got the room. And I had the room in this bag. This is a semi-essentials. If you've got it in your kit, it's definitely a better. So this is a chainsaw type blade attached to some handles so that you can use it to chop a tree down. Because it's not just the thin wire one that you'll see later, it's going to be a lot more effective at chopping a bigger tree. And if you're trying to drive home and you're caught, this is the sort of thing that can help you out. I think it was a bit more on the pricey side, but I think there's no actual thing better than it. So I would strongly suggest it, but again, it doesn't necessarily need to be there if you're, trying to do it for the bare minimum. Can of real food. I'm going to put this on again with the middle section here for really good to have, but don't necessarily need it. When you see later on what I've got, you'll see. So this is a small emergency bivouac bag. I'm putting it on the really nice to have, but not a luxury item. What you would do if you were needing to camp out, you would use some of those emergency bin liners around this blanket, and you've got a very similar thing. So here we go. Multi-tool for scissors and knives and things like that. This is the Gerber Dime. I'm going to put this on the essentials and including a clip. So this was, I think, $30, but it's really good to have a multi-tool for doing things. Actually, I'm going to put this in the really nice to have pile because that extra $30 will add up. Roll of toilet paper. So you pack to your fears, and my fears is trying to use a leaf to clean my own ass again. I don't want to do that ever again. So toilet paper. You can also use it if you're starting a fire. It costs you nothing. Pack it up, put it in a glad bag. An emergency blanket. I've got this in here. I am fairly sure that I took it out of the box that you'll see in a minute. But I'm going to put it in the kit because I'm pretty sure it just came with one of those other ones that you've already paid for. Alright, set of tent pegs, really nice to have, not necessary. I got it for the weight. This is a full roll of duct tape, $2.50, can't argue with that. You can use it to build things, fix your window on your car if you needed to, in conjunction with a whole swath of garbage bags, and use it. Cordage. So there's a figure 9 cord, so I'm going to guess that my wife or whoever is using this bag might not know how to tie knots, so the figure 9 ends will make that a lot easier for her or anyone else, and it's got a whole bunch of cordage on it with a fairly decent weight on it, so cordage in the essentials with the clips. Alright. A 2-pack of emergency ponchos. These were a couple of dollars. Ponchos are very useful, particularly if you're wet or going to get wet, so put it on the bag there. A whole heap of garbage bags. I think they've got no less than 5 there, but you'd use the bin liner. So an actual hat. I'm putting this in the required page, but I'm not going to include it in the cost, just purely because you've probably got a bunch of hats lying around. This one is one I got for free from somewhere, I don't know. So what I managed to fit into this bag was a Nalgene bottle. So you can use this to boil water and things in. If you don't want to buy a Nalgene bottle, the ultimate that I have here is, this was $3.99 from the discount store. A very small pot. You would use a tool to unscrew the handle so you can fit it in better. You could use it to boil water if you made a fire and move on from there. And you could actually, I did test that I can fit the stuff I've got in here inside of this as well. So instead of paying for this, I would put something like this in as my cheap option. So I've used this bottle because it's got a fairly big mouth and you can boil water in it. And when it's sealed like this, it is watertight, obviously. So this does have some benefits over using a frying pan, a saucepan, in that you can also carry water in it. So you can use it as a water bottle. Now what I've done, inside of here I have a Ziploc bag, which I would use to keep this stuff dry if it was inside of this. But what it also does is it lets you stuff stuff in here and be able to get it out fit a bit easier. So what have I got in here that I've wanted to keep dry? A beanie. A set of gloves. So they're warm gloves. So if you're losing heat at night, you're going to lose it from your head, your hands and your feet. So that's what I've got in here. Using the plastic bag so I can get it out easier. I have some replaced extra socks. I've used some thicker hiking type socks in here because if you're needing to walk a long way, having some good thick socks can solve a lot of sins if you've got uncomfortable shoes. These ones are from Kathmandu and they are very nice woolen hiking socks. And again, nothing now in here. So I'm going to substitute in the pricing for this one for this, but if you can afford it and it fits in whatever bag you decide to use, you would use that in the good to have, not the must have. Now we get to the core of the $50 kit. So you might have seen this before in another video. This is the 1-person 3-day survival kit. Survival basics. It contains food, water, and a few other things that I've added in here now because obviously it all fits. So let's decompress this. So the reason I chose this, it is $30. It contains stabilized water, stabilized food. It can go through heat extremes a lot and still be good. And so we go. What I've put in here is a biffy bag. So this is so that you can go to the toilet. It's got some toilet paper inside of it. You don't need to dig a hole. You don't need to do anything like that. You can literally pull it on under you, kind of like a diaper, do your business and then fold it away. Biffy bag, not necessarily on the essentials list. And if you're just packing a roll of toilet paper and stuff, but in an emergency, if you don't want to dig a hole and you're on the side of the road, this can come in very useful. So I'll put that in the useful pile. Another poncho, which is a $2 one, but I've got included the 2 poncho in there. The emergency drinking water that comes with it. Right, so it's not going to be enough water if you're having to hike a long way, but it's definitely better than having absolutely no water in your car. This is one of the things for the essentials kit. It will cost me $5 off Amazon. Put the price up. It's got a really tiny, not very useful compass, a whistle, some lanyards, and inside of it, it's got some matches and a reflective mirror. So you have a striker on the side here as well. Really nice little emergency kit to have with you, and it fits quite nicely in here. A survival blanket, so I think having 2 is not bad, but if I didn't need the other one, so if you're starting out, that's what you got. I also had the food in here, so this is 2,400 calories. Not great if you're running a military campaign and doing a lot of exercise, but if you're just stuck in your car for a couple of days waiting to get rescued, you can. Another thread and can opener. I bought mine, I think it was 4 for $8 or something similar. And that's it for inside of this box. So this box is in the essentials pile. This is the next part of the cheap box. This was $20 off eBay, so that would make it a $50 basic kit. So you would put this inside of a bag. Another emergency blanket, so with the 2 emergency blankets, you've got a bit of coverage. Really cheap multi-tool. It's got a light on it and a set of pliers and screwdrivers and things that came with this $20 kit. That's why I put the other one away. A flint, so to give you a bit of emergency. Another slightly better than the other one compass. A whistle, and I think there was some room for some matches in here. A really thin, crappy wire saw. These are fairly useless, but it's obviously better than nothing. You won't use it to cut down a big ass tree, but you can use it to prepare some firewood, chop off some twigs and things if you needed to. And what I liked as part of this mini preparedness kit, it was this, which was like a little multi-tool. It's got some hex bits, a little saw, bottle opener, a sharp piece of knife for cutting. It's quite versatile and would add if you didn't really have much of a kit. So in theory you could have the bare basics, which is what I'm about to pack back into the bag. So the very bare basics is this little multi-tool, the flint, the whistle, and this. So this was all part of a $30 emergency kit. You could probably take it out of this semi-waterproof container if you needed to. Right. So I'll just put this in the side here as if I was only taking the bare minimum. Right. Emergency box. Stack the food and water in here. Right. Got some room. And the emergency blanket that came with it. Whistle and set of matches. A thread. And with this in the matches, I'll put a couple of firelighters. So that'll basically do this. And if you've got a kid's bag at home, you put it in. Otherwise, you would put it inside of another one. Just a normal Coles type bag. Pair of socks, beanie, gloves. I'm going to assume that you've got this lying around. Otherwise, you would just pick up whatever you can from an opportunity shop. A couple of dollars, maybe $5 to get stuff that you like. Set of duct tape for cheap. 2 set of ponchos. Set of figure 9 cords with some cordage. Ignore the emergency blanket. Some drugs and some emergency band-aids. Israeli bandage, toilet paper, baby powder, glasses wipes if you've got glasses, baby wipes to clean yourself up. Mosquito net, probably actually put that in the good to have, not the required to have. Sunscreen, I always forget sunscreen. Mask, money and the maps and your personal documents. This is free, definitely do that. The pot and things if you can fit it or if you want to do it. A hat to go with it. And some garbage bags or bin liners. And to wrap it up, you would put in your blanket. Obviously, I haven't Tetrised all that stuff in. I would have put it all in this if I was. But there we go. So further extra notes I've had on this was this blanket I paid for. I got it because it was large and it's a kind of hideous colour, which is probably why it was in the discount shop. You don't need to. You could have got something like this, which is a woolen blanket. Woolen blanket would have an extra benefit, is that if you were in your car in a bushfire and you were literally trapped and you were about to get burnt over, use the water from the bags, put it on this, soak it, cover yourself in the car, and you might not die. Maybe. Just a few extra things that I've got in my little kit here, just to discuss. If you've got stuff like this lying around, an emergency radio, it's got a torch on it, that would be good to have in the car, but I didn't put it in there. Some advanced band-aids for heels and things. If you've got a wife, some pads. Wrapping everything up in Glad bags would be useful. So this is a buff. So I got this buff for free when I bought something else. Solar Skate Bivvy, about $100 and something. Necessary for this kit, but you could replace the whole blanket with it if you needed space. But I'm not using that. Cap tourniquet, could have it in there if you think you're going to get shot at. You could do that. Have it as an additional thing if you're just throwing things into a bag. Solid fuel stove, so you could use something like this in conjunction with a lot of stuff in the bag, so you didn't need to build a fire. But again, this was for the cheap. Could replace your mosquito net and your hat with a hat and mosquito net in the same thing. This thing is called a fisherman's hat. They're quite useful for that. You could use a kidney cup, which I found mine. So using that instead of the pot and the thing would make it a bit more easier. You could then have a plastic water bottle inside of it. If you're using a kidney cup, a set of aluminium foil with it, so that way you can cover it up and use it more like an enclosed pot. Really helps things. In terms of medical, you could also use a bunch of compression bandages. So cheap, part of another medical kits that you might have around the house, rather than buying things like SWAT tourniquets and stuff like that. As part of my everyday carry, I include a dog tag. I strongly recommend dog tags. They're like $15 off the internet. Put your personal details, put your wife's contact details on them and move from there. And something that you'd probably have lying around in your car as well. So this is a solar panel battery charger. It's an extra light and things. You've probably already got that as well. You just leave it sitting on your back of your car, so it's always charged. Headlamp. Having a good headlamp can be good for things. You put it in your bag, you've got extra headlamp. I really like this one. It was quite cheap off eBay. I like it because it's got a back light as well, so that if you're wearing it while you're walking, people coming from behind you will see that you're there and hopefully not run you over. And last but not least is, I've been doing this to a lot of my bags now, a couple of buckles. So I'll probably do it to this one, is you cut the straps, put quick release buckles on there. That way if you need to, you can unbuckle them. You could also use them as part of another webbing system. These are quite cheap off eBay for 1-inch buckles, and you would get those little foldy tabs as well, so that way you can join them on. But apart from that, that's really the Frunk bag and the cheapest emergency bag that I could come up with. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.